It's time for another Tackle HD fishing report. Today, professional angler and FLW champion Casey Scanlon joins us to give you the latest fishing report from his home lake, Lake of the Ozarks.
Hey everyone, Casey Scanlon here with another Tackle HD fishing report for Lake of the Ozarks. It's the first week of June. The water is getting hot. We're in the upper 70s, lower 80s. And the fish are starting to bite a little bit. We just finished the spawn a few weeks ago. So now these fish are kind of recovering. They're moving out off the bank a little bit and starting to bite. They're feeding up, getting healthy again, and they're feeding on shad and crawfish really heavily right now. So it's a good time to be at the lake. Normally this time of year, we got a lot more fish out deep than we do. But right now we've got a lot of things going on. There's still a lot of bluegill up shallow, and a lot of bass and bait up shallow as well. So even probably a few still spawning, believe it or not. So a lot of fish up shallow. For those fish, we've been fishing the top water a lot. The shaky head with the Tackle HD sticks worm on the back has been really good. And Trophy Bass Company Pro Jig has been great this week, catching a lot of fish on the jig. Probably a 3/8 or ½ ounce if I'm fishing up shallow. Throwing this sticks worm on probably a 1/4 ounce, 5/16 ounce shaky head to get it down there on the bottom and just work it real slow. Fishing around boat docks, shallow brush piles, and just down rocky banks. Look for those bluegill, look for the bait fish, and you're gonna be around some bass. There's also a good portion of the population suspended. This is something we normally see a lot later in the fall. September, October, those fish get high in the water column and like to suspend. Well, right now, they're suspended everywhere, around boat docks, over the top of points, over the top of brush, and just out in open water schooling. So we're seeing a lot of fish out there, and they can be kind of hard to catch. Normally those fish are kind of tucked close to a piece of cover or on some kind of a point or a bluff or some kind of an object that's going to hold them there where they can feed. But right now they're just roaming around with the shad. So there's a lot of fish out there in that open water. For those fish, we've been throwing like a walking bait, like a spook. This is a vixen right here. I've got it on a 7-foot medium cypress rod from 6 gill, fast gear ratio, braided line so you can throw it a long ways. You got to get on top of these fish when they come up to the surface because they're chasing those shad, so they're up on top 1 minute and gone the next. So you got to be real quick and accurate with your casting, get that bait out on them. Pop R has been working good, and we've been throwing that up shallow too. This bait and a Pop R have been real good up shallow. The Tackle HD worldwide buzzer has been phenomenal just for covering water, especially in the mornings and on cloudy days. The morning bite's pretty important for catching some of those active fish. As the day wears on, you really got to kind of slow down, fish more bottom baits, fish around cover more, because those fish are just, they slow down a little bit, they get a little deeper and a little less willing to move a great distance for that top water. So get out there early and try some of those reaction baits. Got a swim bait here. Again, 7'6", 6 gill rod, 7-to-1 gear ratio, 20-pound line. I think that's a ½ ounce or 3/4 ounce swim bait. Some of those suspended fish will bite that. You catch it, throw it out there, sink it down to whatever depth they're at, and just reel it back to the boat. That bigger swim bait gets some big bites. Also been throwing the Tackle HD swimmer. A lot of the bait they're feeding on is small. So on my guide trips and things like that, we're throwing a lot of spinning rods, and we want to get a lot of casting distance to get it out there to those schooling fish, and that smaller bait just gets more bites typically. So we're throwing that 1/4 ounce jig head, open hook, 10-pound line, casting it out there on these points with the Dreadnought spinning rod or reel from 6 gill, 7'2" medium action rod, gets it out there a long ways, and that's been really productive on some of those fish in the open water. Now also there's a population of fish that are getting out off of these points. They're moving out a little bit deeper. They haven't really grouped up like you want them to be. Usually you want them in a tight school, sitting close to the bottom, where you can throw right to them and get them to bite if they're active. But, they're kind of floating around, they're suspended, they're kind of funky. So a lot of different baits will work. We've been throwing the sticks worm a lot. if I had to throw 2 baits all the time, shallow, deep, in some of these warmer months, the sticks worm, on a shaky head, drop shot, Texas rig, however you want to throw it, and then, some kind of a jig. The Trophy Bass Company Pro Jig comes in a variety of sizes, some heavier sizes so you can get it down there good, and of course it works really good around cover. So throwing that 7'6", 6-gill rod, 20-pound line. You're throwing that on the bottom around cover, so you want big line. You got Bass Pro Shops fluorocarbon, and then a fast gear ratio reel. I got an 8-to-1 gear ratio. You want something fast where you can really catch up to those fish. But the jig bite's been great. So out deeper, I like a 3/4 ounce, 5/8 ounce jig. This summer craw pattern is one that I really like right now. Fish are feeding on crawfish, they're feeding on bluegill, and that replicates a little bit of both. It works well in the summertime period. 5/8, 3/4 ounce, can't go wrong there. Just a great little bait. They come in 2 packs as well, which I really like. Put a crawfish trailer on the back, something with a lot of action. When it's falling, you want the legs on your trailer kind of kicking back and forth, creating some action and drawing those fish to your bait. But overall, fishing is really good here at the lake. Some days, some days they're on the bottom. You can catch them on these points. Some days they're suspended. Some days it's better just to go up shallow. So it's kind of fun. You got to stay on your toes a little bit. Chase the bait around, whether it's bluegill, whether it's shad. Look for the bait fish, and you're going to be around the bass. The fish are feeding heavily right now, whether it's crawfish, bluegill, or those shad. And so if you're around the bait, you're going to be around the fish. Keep your bait selection pretty simple. Top waters, jigs, shaky head worms. The big worm is going to work at night. Spinner baits work at night really, really well. So a variety of techniques are working, but top waters, a bottom bait, and then something like the Tackle HD swimmer that you can swim through the middle of that water column, and you're going to be around the fish. So good luck out there. It's hot. Stay hydrated. Be safe, and we'll see you next time.
Right now, you can find our Tackle HD Crankhead and Square Bill 2-packs in over 200 Walmart locations across the Midwest. It's a great value, and we've got some awesome colors for you to choose from. Just look for the Tackle HD display next time you visit the fishing aisle at Walmart.